On this episode of the Bronze Metalist Podcast, we talk about Trick or Treat, the soundtrack to the motion picture by Fastway. Hello, boys and ghouls.
We're going to continue this?
Come on. Yes, we're going to continue. Yes, we're going to continue. At least past the intro, you fuck.
All right.
Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Metalist Podcast.
Yes, enjoy the podcast.
I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
And we're two professional broadcasters. Yeah. We both have an abiding love for heavy metal in its many, many forms, and we like to talk about it. So that's what we're going to do tonight, talking about Trick or Treat, which is the soundtrack to the, I believe, 1985 or 86 film.
86, I want to say.
Sort of a B movie, kind of.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good movie for what it is. It's
part way through listening to the soundtrack, I realized I have seen parts of this movie on an episode of Red Letter Media's Best of the Worst. On one of their previous Halloween episodes.
It's oddly watchable. I recommend it.
It started a tradition of theirs of watching at least one heavy metal horror movie every Halloween.
Oh, really? So they have a stack of them, a stack of heavy metal horror movies.
There are more than you would think. Far more than you. It would. The Satanic Panic was in full swing in the 80s, and heavy metal was a big part of it. And so, especially B movie makers, filmmakers, they cashed in on that with a wide variety. Mm-hmm. Some of it lasted kind of into the 90s, although there was sort of an action movie bent to some. There's one that they watched that was called now I can't remember, but it took place on a plane where there was like a Marilyn Manson type performing on. It was the first concert ever held on a plane. And it turns out that the guy,
I never saw this.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but anyway, yeah, we're not watching it. We didn't watch the movie.
Well, I have.
You've watched the movie. I've not actually seen the film. I've only seen people talking about it.
I saw it on VHS.
On VHS.
Yes.
Video.
High
speed.
No.
Video heroin shooting.
Yeah, video heroin shooting. Yes. Visual heroin. No. I can't remember what does VHS stands for. Very high
speed.
Very high.
It spins super fast.
Stuff.
Very high stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Very high stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is a soundtrack. So we'll get to that in a little while. First of all, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm kind of tired. Last night I was coughing and I couldn't stop coughing, so I took
You were coughing. You mean you were?
I don't know I don't actually know exactly what the Crypt Keeper sounds like.
You were very listening to it in a coffin.
There we go. You actually looked like him there for a second, too.
I've been told that.
You've been told you look like the Crypt Keeper. Hey, it could be worse. You could be his name was in my head for a second. Yo, you could be modern Jesse Ventura.
Sure.
Have you seen pictures of him lately?
Yeah, well, he didn't age tremendously.
He aged horribly.
Yeah.
He aged like milk. He looks
like cheese.
He kind of looks like the Crypt Keeper a little bit these days. But you were talking about your week. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
You were coughing a lot.
Oh, I was coughing. Coughing. And I took a handful of Benadryl and just went to bed and I slept. I woke up like every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I feel like beat up.
Well, I hope you don't have I didn't hear you coughing much today.
No,
so,
I wasn't. So
at least you don't have whatever it was I had last year that wasn't strep, but still lasted for 2 months.
Sure.
And I couldn't sleep at all, and They gave me drugs that didn't work.
You know, I've always kind of done this. Even my metabolism having slowed down as much as it has, I'll get like an illness, and I will just my body will burn through it. I'll take a day like last Friday. I was sicker than shit, but I burned through it. Like I probably could have come in and done my 2:00 show, but I mean.
It would have felt weird.
I had diarrhea.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The most horrifying illness of them all. Diarrhea.
Yeah, Well, that sucks, but I'm glad you got over it.
I did get over it. I burned through it fast. Like if you gave me like cancer or something, I'd be over by midnight.
You'd be the first person to overcome cancer completely on their own.
Sure.
Your white blood cells are that strong.
It's I'm like Wolverine.
Or Deadpool.
Yeah.
Well, Deadpool never overcame his cancer. In fact, his mutant powers made it worse.
It just made him into a big ball of cancer that never killed him.
That was unable to kill him, but also unable to heal.
Yeah.
I bought and well, I didn't buy, technically speaking. I subscribed to Xbox Game Pass,
right,
and downloaded The Outer Worlds, which is a new game by Obsidian Entertainment Studios. I think there's a studios on there. Obsidian, anyway, their game company. That I've enjoyed their products previously. One of their games is my favorite game ever, as of right now, anyway. Is Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, sure.
They were the people who made Fallout New Vegas.
And you say this is like it. You say this is a lot of attributes of...
It feels spiritually very much like Fallout
Spiritually?
Spiritually, like Fallout New Vegas. Ooh.
But, yeah, it feels a lot like that. It has a lot of the same
spirit.
But yeah, I have been enjoying it greatly. I haven't gotten to play it a lot in the last couple of days. I played it a lot over the weekend. I didn't play it too much in the last couple of days just because I was catching up on some video programming that I was watching. But
were you watching it on Video Home System? Duh.
It's Video Home System.
Video Home System, yeah.
Somehow I don't like I don't like that.
No, well.
It feels like it should describe the mechanism more.
I say we stop selling Video Home System tapes.
Yeah, call it something different if you're going to keep selling it.
Otherwise, put the kibosh and have no one ever play them again.
I always knew Betamax was better.
Yeah. In full rich beta.
Full rich beta.
Sure.
Although Betamax does not describe the mechanism either. But
it does not.
Whatever.
I worked for a TV station that used Betamax tapes up until like just a few years ago.
Yeah, I think one of my professors at college mentioned that as well, and then you had mentioned that they were using Betamax tapes.
And I especially loved it working in the creative department at the TV, and one of the guys, Craig, his name is, moving to Bismarck, says, I got to put together my master beta so I can. He was serious. I got my master beta.
And I think it's funny when people talk about HD DVD.
Yeah.
That was a decade ago.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and the owners of the radio station we worked for, he was all in on that. He said, that's the one that's going to win. Screw that Blu-ray shit. That's never going to catch on.
HD DVD's the way to go.
Indeed.
Nope.
I think he had 4 players.
Oh, my God. Well, like, I imagine an HD DVD player can still play a regular-ass DVD.
It can.
So it's not a horrible investment.
Sure.
It turned out to be a pointless one, but it wasn't like it wasn't like it was actively sucking money away from you.
No, just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. Blu-ray would be the better investment.
As it turns out, yes.
Yeah, as it turns out, that is how it happened. I was talking about The Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Been enjoying it quite a bit.
Good.
It's fun. The humor is sharp and witty and very. Part of the spirit of the game is that you are in a solar system that is entirely owned by corporations.
Sure.
All the colonies in this solar system are owned by a big conglomerate known as Halcyon.
And the people in them.
And the people in them are also technically owned, except for people who are freelancers and people that buy their way out and that sort of stuff. But it's so there's a lot of corporate humor in there, and a lot of that is derived from puns on the name, and also a lot of like classic like 1890s to 1920s advertising.
Right.
Like that era, the infancy of advertising and old-timey posters and stuff, because it's a space western.
Sure.
Is what it is. It has a lot of similarities to Firefly, but there's also a lot of visual and sort of spiritual similarities to like BioShock. And some parts of it feel like Mass Effect as well. There's so many elements of games that I really enjoy that have been blended together into this one, and I'm really digging it. It combines a lot of my favorite games because I've played BioShock and I've played Mass Effect, and I really enjoyed both of them. And of course, like I said, I had massive amounts of fun with Fallout New Vegas. And yeah, I'm really digging it.
Are there any bugs in it or anything?
Not really. No. That's sort of become a thing that Obsidian has been known for, especially after Fallout New Vegas, because New Vegas was remarkably buggy upon release, and it never quite got fully fixed to the point where if you were playing it on PC, there's basically like unofficial but official mods that you are recommended to install in order to fix the bugs they never got to fix before they, all their development teams had to move on to a new project. Sure. But basically this game is what Fallout 4 should have been. They made a better Fallout game than Bethesda did. But that makes sense because they've done that before.
And it's probably some of the same employees. The same creative team.
It's a fair amount of the same creative team. A couple of the writers are different, but I think the people in charge are people that have been with Obsidian since they were Interplay, and they made the first two Fallout games. So yeah, there's a lot of, if not direct, experience on those games. It's still the studio and still the same spirit, and I greatly enjoy it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Today we are drinking the spookiest of beers, Dead Guy, because it has a skeleton on it. So I was like, it was the only one I saw. I was at the little liquor store across from the mall. Sure. And I was looking for any beer. I knew I was probably going to end up getting Dead Guy, but I was trying to see if there was any other beer that had that looked spooky and had like a skeleton on it, and this was it. This was the ticket.
Are you going to try to make this come out tomorrow, by the way?
Yeah.
Good. I was going to say, all the spookiness. Do they know it's November 3rd?
No. This is coming out tomorrow.
Okay, good.
If you're listening to this not on Halloween, well, this must be a little awkward, but whatever.
These guys are like campily morbid.
They're. I wish I knew. I don't quite have a Vincent Price impression. He's got kind of a whiny voice, doesn't he?
Or maybe sort of somewhat almost nasally.
Because for SNL they always had Bill Hader do Vincent Price because he's Bill Hader, and whiny voices are his thing because he has a whiny kind of whiny voice. He's not a whiny person. He just has a whiny voice.
Well, it's a nasally kind of thing. Yeah.
And so do I. I better have a nasally voice for this giant schnoz I've got attached to my face. I better be doing something.
It is his. He is actually talking about his own nose.
I do have a big ass nose.
An ass nose.
Yeah. Wow. It's fairly long and fairly wide. I have my grandfather's nose. Do we want to talk about the album? This is probably one of the earliest. like normally we don't get to talk about the album until like a half hour in.
Well, we didn't have a whole lot going on otherwise. I mean, you had a video game. I had. I might be buying a truck tomorrow. I mean, that.
I guess. Oh, I got a call today from the animal shelter.
They
so
also
did you?
Called me, yeah.
Because I wrote you down as a reference. So my application has been processed at the very least.
Right.
So. hopefully they call back and ask like, "Hey, do you want to come meet the kitty?"
Sure.
And I'd be like,
drive down to Bismarck.
That's no big deal.
That's fine.
It's for a kitty.
Yeah.
Like, very cute kitty. So.
And I couldn't bring myself to do all the fun things in my head that I wanted to do when they called me as a reference.
Yeah.
Because,
that would have been...
That would have been mean. That would have been terrible, and I can't do that.
I feel like if I were to get the cat, or when I do get a cat, I'm on a quest now.
Yes.
I'm going to get a cat. I think it would be fun to put a cat bed right in the middle of the table.
Yeah.
And just have, while we're podcasting, just cat in the middle.
Just to pet the cat intermittently.
Just pet the cat. Either that or have the cat on my lap, Dr. Evil style.
Yes. We are now inside Kale's Pussy Quest 2019.
Oh.
What? You're looking for a cat.
Yeah, you're right.
Also, he wants a cat.
Nah. Now you went back.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. You're fine. It was funny.
So
this album,
yeah.
this is an album by Fastway.
They are a supergroup.
Yeah, they were a hard rock / heavy metal supergroup formed in the mid '80s by was it
Fast Eddie Clark?
Fast Eddie Clark from Motorhead. And who's the other guy was from?
Why? Oh, UFO from the bass player from UFO. Gerard Way.
Yeah, Gerard Way, who I learned today is apparently the cousin of Joe Rogan.
Really?
Yeah, I just saw it come up on Facebook somewhere.
Weird.
And the friend who shared that was like, I don't know what to do with this information, but okay. There's a Loudwire article, but no. Yeah, it was a hard rock supergroup with those two as the founding members, although Way actually left fairly soon after the band was founded. They picked up just a bright-eyed, young Irish immigrant.
For a singer. Yeah.
Illegal Irish immigrant, I should add, as well, because he did not have a green card for quite some time when he first moved to the U.S. None other than Flogging Molly's Dave King.
A very young Dave King.
A very young Dave King who looked remarkably like Dave Mustaine at the time.
Yeah, he had hair.
The long locks. I mean, he still has hair.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's short hair now.
Yeah, it's short and
Gray.
a little bit less red.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the long flowing 80s locks of red hair. And I think if I did not know going into this album that this was Dave King, I don't think I ever would have figured it out.
No.
Because he does not sound Irish in the slightest.
Right.
Which is a huge difference with Flogging Molly, because the whole point of Flogging Molly is to be Irish. Yeah. I had to refresh on my Dave King knowledge just a little bit, because when he left Ireland and he lived in London for a little while, and then he moved to Los Angeles, but he did not have a green card, and so he basically for 8 years before he actually got one could not leave the U.S. out of fear that they would find out he didn't have a green card and then he would never be able to come back to the U.S.
Sure.
So until he got his green card, and I don't know how he fabricated I haven't been here for 8 years.
No.
I just arrived. Give me a green card.
Yeah, send it to the house I own.
Yeah. He didn't own a house.
No, of course not.
But yeah, he was apparently unknown before then. I think, he had been a musician for a while and he'd been singing all his life, but he was a pure unknown, and somehow he met Fast Eddie, and Fast Eddie was like, hey, kid, you want to sing in my band? Even though all of Motorhead was living in L.A. at that point.
Of course.
But,
where Lemmy ultimately died.
Yes.
And so did Fast Eddie died.
I'm almost surprised Lemmy did not die at the Rainbow.
That would have been so fitting.
That would have been a fitting end to Lemmy's stories. He quietly passed away with a glass of Jack in hand at the Rainbow Bar.
No, he switched to vodka.
Oh, that's right.
He switched to vodka.
Well,
he
knew it was the end, so he ordered one last glass of Jack.
Right. Screwed a Marlboro into his lips.
Yep. And just passed away quietly in his booth. But yeah, just Fast Eddie. I don't know how he met him or what the situation was, but he's just like, you want to be in my band, and then he was, and they started making albums and were successful. I mean, it was Fast Eddie was a known quantity at that point, but imagine being Dave King and just being this young illegal immigrant from Ireland, and suddenly the lead guitarist from Motorhead asks you to be in his band. That must have been a fucking trip.
Sure. That must have been awesome.
That must have, yeah.
He's got a great voice. I mean,
he's amazing.
Yeah.
I'd never heard him sing like that.
Right.
And he's great. Mm-hmm. He has a perfect, like 80s hair metal voice.
And these are all really catchy songs. I mean, okay, I didn't realize just how much. I mean, when I'm in the kitchen and I'm listening, because I do revisit this album again, of course. Yeah. My headphones, I've had my phone and the headphones turned all the way up. And so I'm listening to it, and I'm doing the dishes. I've listened to it a couple of times, actually, because it was a big part of my youth.
And it's a short album.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get to that in a moment.
33 minutes.
Yeah. And my son was out playing Minecraft, my 8-year-old.
He got into Minecraft.
He got Minecraft. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's really doing it now.
Because a while ago you were saying he hadn't played it before. So
yeah, he got it last week or a week before.
Yeah, I always thought Minecraft was the perfect game for your son.
It is. Oh yeah. He's he keeps dying, but
it happens. But anyway, so Max was playing Minecraft.
He's playing Minecraft, and then he went out there and he's singing "Rockin' on Midnight, Still Your Soul." Could you actually hear from my headphones? I can always hear from your headphones. This is the first time you're actually singing the songs. Well, yeah, the other times, I couldn't really sing.
Can't sing. I can't understand what they're saying, much less sing them.
Yeah,
they're very catchy tunes. I mean, it's a movie soundtrack,
right? At the very least,
and I'm not familiar with other Fastway songs, but is there other material? Do you remember being this catchy?
Yeah, somewhat. It is. I mean, it's all basically the same. They don't veer far from the path.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said for catchy 80s hair metal and hard rock and stuff. This is not, I don't know if I would strictly call it hair metal.
No, I mean it's a bit beyond that. I mean,
yeah. It's closer to certain parts of an earlier. It's closer to like an Iron Maiden than it is.
There's some of it, yeah.
Like it's closer to an Iron Maiden or like a Dio than it is a
than Cinderella.
Yeah.
Or Faster Pussycat.
I was trying to think of like hair metal or like
those are hair metal bands.
Early Bon Jovi.
Sure.
I was saying I was trying to think of hair metal
stuff you were aware of.
Yeah.
Poison.
Yeah. There we go.
There you go.
I couldn't think of because I'm not super familiar with hair metal outside of the radio.
Oh, I could verse you.
Parts. I mean, that was your childhood was hair metal basically.
Yeah, sort
of. That's what was on the radio.
Well, but I wasn't listening to the radio. And,
yeah.
Okay, and here's the funny thing about this. This is one of those rare pieces of art. I mean, growing up, and
pieces of art. You heard it here first.
That's right.
Folks.
It's art.
Trick or Treat, the soundtrack. Art.
I digress. I discovered this actually working at McDonald's.
Wow.
There was a guy named Brent who used to bring this in a boombox when we'd lock the doors. It was between this and Two Live Crew that they would play. Yeah.
Okay.
It was Welcome to the Fuck Shop or is the Trick or Treat soundtrack, and they listened to it over and over. And the funny thing is, growing up listening to a lot of the metal, a lot of thrash metal, proto death metal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had a small circle of friends, and sometimes you have those friends. I didn't really care for them.
Yeah.
But you're the only guy who
they were around.
You're the only guy who's going to listen to Slayer with me. So I guess we got to be friends.
Yeah.
But this is one of those situations where like normies were listening to it.
Yeah.
and so it's like I feel great here, cleaning the deep fryer. Well, listening to this, hey, they like rock music too. Yay!
Suddenly you became the guy.
Yeah.
You were the cool guy.
Yeah.
I do love that you just used the word normies.
Yeah.
I love the word normies. It's fantastic. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, it's like, your son was singing. It's very catchy.
It is.
It's a very catchy album. And the thing that I thought was funny reading about this is that it ended up being more successful than the movie it was written for.
Sure, definitely, yeah.
It stayed on like the Billboard chart for like 6 months or something. Yeah. For a long time. Yeah. This was on the charts.
On the album chart, yeah.
Long after it was,
the movie was forgotten.
Yeah, long after the movie was unequivocally declared a flop and forgotten by everyone except, like B-movie enthusiasts who like kind of campy horror movies and that sort of thing. And like I said, I didn't connect in my head until I started listening to the album. It was like Trick or Treat. And I was listening to the music. I was like, I've heard this before. And I remembered that Red Letter Media did an episode of Best of the Worst. Yeah. And they were, when they were discussing it, they were like, this movie is almost too good to be on this show. Almost. Yeah. It kind of falls apart in the last half. But like, if you tighten things up a little bit, this would have been a fantastic movie. But it just failed just enough. And I was listening to this going like, I know, I've heard this before. And they were talking about the story of the movie, how it's this young teenager, this young metalhead who's getting bullied. And his rock and roll idol, Sammy Kerr, dies. And he's horribly broken up about the death of his rock and roll idol. And so his friend, who is a middle-aged man who works at a radio station. Weird. A middle-aged metalhead who works at a radio station?
That's unheard of.
I've never heard of that before.
Nope.
That's totally not going to be me ever.
No, it's certainly not me now.
Yeah, we wouldn't know anything about that. But his friend knew his rock and roll idol personally and had the only copy of their last album, of Sammy Kerr's last album, and he gives it to young Skippy, I think his nickname is. And he listens to the album and falls asleep while he's listening to it. And while he's asleep, the album, of course, completes its vinyl, and so it starts skipping while he's asleep because the album is finished,
right?
And just absolutely ruining that vinyl and destroying the needle apparently. But he wakes up and realizes that the lyrics that it's skipping on, they mean something. So he puts it in reverse and he summons like the demonic spirit of Sammy Kerr, who starts like doing all sorts of crazy demon ghost rock and roll shit. At one point he pulls a woman out of the television and turns her to ash. And then there's another part where he kills all of Skippy's bullies with bolts of electricity fired from his guitar or some shit like that. I don't remember the conclusion of the movie. I watched the Red Letter Media episode again to try and get a synopsis, and I read it on Wikipedia, but it's already escaped me.
But the last time I saw it, it was fairly new.
Yeah.
So
this is it's a wacky movie. But it's considered kind of a classic heavy metal horror film. And this was the soundtrack, and I still think it's hilarious that the soundtrack did better than the film.
Oh, yeah.
How many times has that happened in history?
How many times? Man, I don't know. I don't know. I've had some great soundtracks. I've owned some delightfully...
But were they ever more successful than the film?
No, they're never usually more successful than the film.
And that doesn't happen very often.
Right.
And I think it speaks to both the quality of the film and the quality of the album that situation occurred, that there was that disconnect between the two. Because this is some good shit. This is like, I'm normally kind of the sort of soft metal, not quite my thing.
Sure.
I dug this. This was fun. This gave me the same feelings that Duran Duran album we listened to earlier this year. This gave me the same feelings.
Yeah.
It's just that warm kind of bubblegum sort of feeling of just like, all right, rock and roll, yeah. That's how I felt listening to this. It made me feel. It connected me with that like spirit of the 80s. I felt nostalgia for a period I never lived in.
And I love that there's at least one song on here that they may have completed writing at some point, but they didn't record the whole song. Like, Tear Down the Walls is the name of the song.
Yep. And the first 2 minutes or whatever.
Some weird sound of it.
Yeah.
Some synthesizer. And there's Tear Down the Walls. And then
and they start playing half of a song.
Yeah, and then it kind of peters out. Then we go on to the next thing.
Yeah. Like the first half was like the opening of, you know, some sort of weird like post-rock song. Yeah. And then they played half of a rock song. Yeah. So sure.
Yeah, that's
why
all
not?
That's all they needed. What are you doing? We wrote a 3-minute song. No, we only need like 20 seconds for this scene.
Okay, well, you don't have to write the whole thing then.
You don't have to record this entirety.
I'm pouring myself another one.
Another dead guy.
Another dead guy.
There's another dead guy in here.
Another one bit the dust.
And another one bites the dust.
And another one's gone.
And another one's gone.
That's some good head on that.
Yeah. The first one I poured didn't have any.
Right.
The first one I poured was headless. Ooh. See, that was a joke about the headless horseman.
There's a horse in there?
Yeah, there's some horse in there.
Oh, there's some horse in there, really.
Yeah.
Made with real horse.
Well, it's like I put
like heroin.
I was gonna make a joke about IKEA meatballs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I didn't. I hadn't quite. It's like, I don't know why you would put an IKEA meatball in your beer.
I hear those are pretty good.
IKEA meatballs, that they're good. Mm-hmm. At one point at least, they were made with horse meat.
Right. Which, I mean, it's an ungulate. It's I'll eat a horse.
Yeah. I don't quite like. People freaked out about that. I think it was because they didn't know they were eating horse.
Sure.
They assumed it was beef.
Right, and then you really, after that, once the gig is up, the jig is up, you can't really, now say, okay, it's horse meat. Now you got to really kind of switch to beef.
Yeah,
because
now you cannot use the horse meat anymore.
That's just bad PR.
Yeah. Although, then again, if they had said it was horse meat from the beginning, how many people would have ate that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily see a problem with eating horse meat. I think it's fine. You got to do something with them when they die.
Sure.
Most people don't raise horses to slaughter for the meat because it's too expensive. So I don't necessarily see a problem with eating horse meat, but definitely not telling people that is what they're doing.
That's
not cool.
Although my folks used to raise horses, like old horses.
Old horse.
Like 30-year-old horses.
They were born old. They would raise old horses.
Yeah, they would raise. Well, yeah, that's not what they meant. I mean, raise them. They plant them in the ground, and then an old horses.
Yeah.
No, they used to have them. I mean,
like somebody would have a horse. It would get old, and they wouldn't be able to take care of it, and they would.
This is sent to my mom and dad. Mom and dad would buy it for a couple $100, and then they have it on their property in Colorado. And then inevitably, within a year, 2 or 3, the thing would we go out in the morning and it'd be on its side.
Yeah. So your parents' place in Colorado was the pasture that old horses got sent to.
Yes,
it was the actual place.
And
it wasn't just that Dad shot it out in the shot it out in the pasture and buried it. That actually was the place that old horses got sent to.
And what's funny is if you live in a big enough metropolitan area, you don't have to worry about hauling it away, because a truck that says Purina on the side of it will come haul it away.
I didn't know. I didn't know that they put. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And like I said, you got to do. You're not going to bury a whole horse.
No, I mean, why would you then?
That'd be a lot of work unless you have like a backhoe.
It would take up a lot of property.
And yeah, it would also take up quite a bit of real estate. So yeah, you're not going to bury a whole horse. Maybe if you want to commemorate it, make a little grave. You don't actually have to bury the horse there. And I'm not trying to. I don't want to sound like. I was gonna say I don't want to sound like I hate horses, but then I remembered I don't actually like horses.
You don't like horses.
I don't trust them. I don't trust horses.
What about looking at them? Like you're driving by, look, horsey. And
I think horses, they're beautiful.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to interact with a horse. A horse is one of the few domestic animals that I do not want to touch.
Really?
I had some bad experiences with horses as a kid.
Have you fallen or kicked by a horse or stomped on by a horse?
I was almost kicked by a horse.
Really?
The neighbors that lived up the hill from us, they had some horses. They had a pretty wide pasture for them, and they had some horses. And one of them was quite old and was quite sick. And so we went up to help them. I was like 4. We went up to help them, and this horse had fallen over and they were helping it. And the other horse that they had in the pasture with it, I remember it being a little aggressive.
Yeah.
And it was hitched next to where this was happening. So he was understandably getting a little distressed.
Yeah.
And I, being 4 and unsupervised, was just walking around. I was probably told to stay put, but I was 4, so I didn't. And I was walking a reasonable distance behind this horse, and it probably, in my memory, feels a lot closer than it actually was.
Right.
But the sick horse struggled a lot all of a sudden.
Really?
And the horse next to it got very distressed and possibly knew I was behind him, and so when horses are scared and there's something behind them, they kick.
Sure.
And so it kicked, and in my memory, the horse's hoof was like a foot away from my head.
Sure.
It was probably much further away than that, but it scared the fucking shit out of me as a kid, and it has continued to frighten me. And I've had experiences with horses since then. I've pet horses. I still just don't trust them because I see videos of horses biting people for no fucking reason.
Right.
And it I know the emotions of a dog, right? And I know the emotions of a horse too. Like their ears, if the ears are back, no, don't look out. Don't fucking touch them. But I understand kind of when a dog is upset and you don't want to interact with it.
Sure.
A horse, I have no idea. Other than the ears being back. But there are videos I've seen where the horse seems like it's perfectly relaxed, but then it just fucking bites somebody because horses are dicks.
This is why you want to have a cat in
This
your
is
apartment.
why I want a cat.
Not a horse.
Because cats are also dicks.
They are.
But they're small and generally harmless.
They're small, furry dicks.
They're small, they're small, furry assholes, I'd say. Generally, they are harmless to humans anyway. They kill anything else they can.
Yeah.
But anything that is a certain size larger than them, they're harmless too. So that is why I would prefer a cat. And I love I adore dogs, but I don't have room.
Right.
Or
2-bedroom
time
apartment.
for one. I don't have the room or the time for a dog.
Yeah, because those need a lot of attention.
Oh yeah.
Whereas cats, you just put some food down and
put some food down and play with them. Make sure they get some exercise, and depending upon how sociable if you have kind of an antisocial cat, then just put the food out and let them do their own thing.
Now, you do know that it is better to have 2 cats than 1, right?
Generally speaking.
Yeah.
Although I believe they described this cat as being a little shy, and I think they recommended house without other cats.
Oh, good.
And I've seen that on some some animals in the Sewers Valley Animal Shelter. There will be some where it says does best in homes without other pets, because I think that's especially a big thing with males. I think female cats do well together. Male cats generally don't do all that well together sometimes. But At any rate, we've been talking about aminals for a while, but yeah, I don't trust horses. They frighten me a little bit.
All right.
Not that being said, I don't necessarily want to eat one or condone, the slaughter of them. But when they die, you gotta do something with them.
Sure.
And you might as well get some use.
Might as well make a roast.
Yeah, might as well get some use out of
A
them.
good old horse roast.
Have you ever had like just straight horse?
I have, yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's fine. I've had straight dog as well.
Really? Well, I suppose, yeah, you did grow up in the Philippines.
Yeah, for a while,
That's slightly more common there. Is that
It
where
is.
you ate dog?
Yes.
I was gonna say, I would feel bad if I said, oh, you grew up in the Philippines, and you're like, no, I ate dog here.
Yeah. We were homeless here for a while. It was roadkill.
Yeah. Oh, God. But yeah,
Lechon aso.
that's slightly more common over there.
Yeah.
Although I imagine there's got to be some amount of stigma, because I know in like Southeast Asia, stray dogs are a huge problem, and I feel like eating, you wouldn't want to eat a stray dog because of all the worms and shit. I mean, that's why
potentially,
that's why you cook the meat, but
Yeah.
there's always a possibility.
That you're gonna be eating something that has distemper.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, like I know stray dogs are a huge problem in South Asia and Southeast Asia.
Right.
There's roaming packs of stray dogs that have like killed kids and shit.
Also Detroit.
Also, yeah, there's a lot of stray dogs in Detroit too. Anyway, we were talking about Fastway.
Speaking of Detroit.
So you mentioned that this was kind of a guy you worked with at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Introduced you to this album. Did you continue listening to Fastway after that?
I hadn't listened to it in a long time, and then occasionally I'll pull it up. Well, only since I've gotten digital technology. Cause I didn't actually have the album anywhere.
Okay, yeah. And I don't know where you would find it either, other than just chancing upon it at like a record store or something.
Right.
I don't know where you would find it. And it's interesting to me also that at the point in time that the movie came out, the radio station guy, well, I feel like it was because he worked at it was a radio station guy. He hands the kid a vinyl.
Sure.
Because I feel like this album probably came out on cassette.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was probably a vinyl release as well, but most people, I imagine, would have listened to this on cassette.
Sure, we did, of course. We had a boom box.
Yeah. So it's
and whiskey.
I think it's simply and whiskey. That's an important part of the process.
Indeed.
There. But I feel like the fact that he plays it on a vinyl in the movie was a byproduct of the radio station, and also they wanted the backwards masking thing.
Sure.
Although, could you not do backwards masking on a cassette tape?
Sure you can.
Yeah, so that they could have done that, but a radio DJ would not have handed him a cassette.
And it has
tape.
to be skipping on that point. You don't get skipping on a cassette.
Exactly. So for the plot of the movie, it had to be a vinyl.
Yes. I give you this wax cylinder.
This Edison wax cylinder. Originally, Fleur de Lis was recorded on this one, but I ran a match over it to melt it.
And now it's semi-car.
He turned into Skeletor at the end there. He-Man! And he prays. Oh my God, do I pray?
Every single day
For revolution. My voice is ragged this week.
I hear you. Yeah, this whole new computer system. Just crazy.
Yeah. We've been having a weird problem. We're talking about work now, folks.
Yeah, this is work.
We've been having this weird issue. I don't know if it's this way for you guys.
Yeah.
But for me, it doesn't matter what volume I turn the mic to.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I set the gain at.
Yeah.
I will always sound really blown out.
Really?
Like there's a fair amount of distortion. And doesn't matter what I set the mic to. It doesn't matter how far away I am from the mic. It picks it up and normalizes it to it does. I've looked at the setting at least. It doesn't seem like it should be normalizing to that level, but I feel like it's normalizing to like +3 dB.
You know you're like that in real life, right?
I know that I talk loudly, and I know that I
You actually distort sometimes. You peak when you're talking.
But I know I project quite a bit, but I never had a problem with it being too hot, at least mechanically and from the software as well.
Have you tried just backing off?
Yeah, I sat like 2 feet away from the microphone today, and it was still really distorted.
And I had the opposite problem this morning because I was doing live and the weather bed was going, and I was given the forecast, and it was over the loud. And no matter what I did, I potted down the Zeta, I turned up the mic.
Yeah,
I was drowned.
So I don't know what the issue is there, because for me it's always way too loud, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what to do. I've tried, and yesterday I set it all like I turned the gain slider probably halfway down the track, and it was picking that up, and then it was normalizing it.
Wow. And
normalizing the shit out of it. That's the way it seemed anyway, and it doesn't seem to matter. So I'm just leaving it at. I don't know if I just need to.
You sound fine when we listen to you on the radio. You sound fine.
Really?
Like in the car.
In the car, it sounds okay.
There's.
I guess that's all that matters to me. If I know it sounds okay, actually, in the car, that's all right, because through the speakers in the studio, it sounds like shit, and I hate it. That's one thing I cannot abide by. You know, if I stumble a little bit, whatever. But if the audio quality is bad, I can't abide by that.
Right.
I like to have good audio quality. You're welcome, listener.
The Kale does not abide.
The Kale does not abide in bad audio. Except when he does, and that's an accident.
Sure.
That was meant to be a normal laugh, but it turned out evil?
Yeah, it did.
I feel like I need to do kind of a Kubrick stare from now on. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
So are you doing anything for Halloween?
For Halloween, I believe, let's see, my wife is taking our 8-year-old, who is a barbecue grill.
Oh, yeah. It took me a second there. Yeah. It took me a second to realize, for Halloween.
For Halloween, no.
He has a barbecue grill for Halloween.
No, he's a Weber. He actually put coal in him and set him on fire.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
It should be a propane grill. Come on. Taste the meat, not the heat, OJ. Use propane.
Oh, sorry, I'm a charcoal guy.
I cannot. I don't know why I'm friends with you, dang it.
Propane and propane accessories.
Yep. Butane is a bastard gas.
And I think the other child is going somewhere else.
Okay.
And then I'm doing the driving for that.
You're doing the driven?
The driven.
The driven?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not doing shit for Halloween.
Are you going to have candy? They probably don't come through your building, do they?
No. We have a security door, so generally, unless somebody lives here, then no. And I don't. Now that my previous neighbors, I got new neighbors recently, but now that my previous neighbors have taken off, I don't know of anyone in this building that has
little kids,
children that run. There's a couple that I have met that live in the basement, and they have a small baby, but nobody that has toddlers and up that would be trick or treating. Yeah, they don't come through. So I'm not a candy guy. I don't have candy normally, so I probably won't have candy tomorrow.
So you're not going to sit here with some fun-sized Twix and watch a movie?
No, I'll probably just be playing Outer Worlds, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
And continue to play that. But and that'll be fun. I've never been too deep into Halloween.
No,
that's always been Hannah's thing.
Sure.
I've never been super deep into Halloween, which is weird because I'm nerdy and Halloween's kind of a nerd holiday.
Kind of. To do nerdy costumes and cosplay and sort of shit.
And I like costumes. I just I'm not too deep into it, so I haven't done it. I'd like to, if I had more people to play like an in-person game with. I'd love to do like a Halloween D&D one shot. And everybody maybe shows up in costume as their character or something, and their character could be fucking Dracula. I don't give a shit. It's a Halloween one shot.
Your character is fucking Dracula?
Well, yeah, your character is the bride of Dracula, so they're fucking Dracula.
Sure.
But yeah, that'd
One
be
of the many brides.
one of the many brides. They all seem to die. It's not my fault, officer, I swear. Dracula just gets arrested by the regular ass police for
He's got a dead woman in the car.
the suspicious amount of his brides that have died. You see here, we see here, Mr. Dracul, that you've been married 15 times, and every one of them has died under mysterious circumstances.
Yes, but it's been over 400 years.
We're still gonna have murder has no statute of limitations, sir. We're going to have to take you downtown for some questioning.
Okay, but there will be no garlic.
Why would there be? Why are you concerned about garlic,
No
Mr.
reason.
Dracula? There probably. I mean, Davis had some pizza earlier. Davis, did that have garlic on it? Oh, you had the knots. Davis had garlic knots.
No.
I'll.
Please.
Stay away. We're just taking you in for questioning, so we're not. You're not being detained or anything. So.
Would you mind leaning into the window more? Just a little more.
Sir, no, sir.
I am admiring your necklace.
Sir, you staring deeply into my eyes is making me uncomfortable. I'm going to have to ask you to back up.
Look deep into my eyes.
Sir, don't make me take this taser out. Dracula just gets fucking tased. Brought in.
Don't tase me, bro.
It turns out vampires aren't immune to being tased. I turned into a fucking cloud of oh, god damn it. Now I'm just picturing it's the cops from What We Do in the Shadows. They were going to make a TV show, or they
did, I think, didn't they?
Wellington. Well, they made the What We Do in the Shadows TV show, but they were going to do a New Zealand one that was Wellington PD, I think was what it was called, and it was those two cops from the movie just investigating weird random shit that happens in Wellington, New Zealand. And that would have been wonderful because those two were great.
Which reminds me, have you seen the trailers for Jojo Rabbit?
I haven't yet. I they've been out for a while. I need to watch the trailers for it.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
I mean, it's Taika Waititi.
Yeah,
Like, come on.
you can't go wrong.
Like, even if he is making a movie about Hitler, I don't like.
Well, it's
the
Hitler.
funny
You think
thing.
Hitler is an imaginary character. Yeah.
And I think it's funny too that he is playing imaginary Hitler. This, middle-aged half Maori man is playing Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
That just adds to the levity of it so much. And that's there need to be more movies that actively make fun of Hitler.
Well, sure.
And like Inglourious Bastards kind of did that, but like we need more movies that actively
The
satirize
producers.
him.
You've seen The Producers, haven't you?
I haven't.
Oh, yeah, you should see that.
And back in the day, there was also The Great Dictator and stuff like that. That also satirized and then had that wonderfully emotional ending
From Charlie
speech.
Chaplin.
Which actually has been talked about on this podcast because the one off episode that I did the summer before we started doing this with my buddy Matt, we talked about there's a The Chariot album that actually ends on a song that contains that entire speech, which is really cool. They did it really well, but yeah,
We must all unite.
yes, it was good stuff. But yeah, I need to watch the trailers for Jojo Rabbit. We haven't asked. I didn't write down stuff, so we haven't asked our traditional.
You don't know what the
questions.
score is.
Yeah, I don't know what the score is, but we can certainly ask if it slaps. Do you think it slaps?
Slap. Does it slap? It made me dance in my kitchen.
I qualify that as a slap.
All right.
I think this slaps.
All right.
I think it's this is a lot of fun. It's it's not depressive. It's not going to make you sit there and be despondent and just look out the window.
Sure.
Just
Not for a moment.
Wide-eyed. You're going to be going like, all right, rock and roll. That's the slap. Anything that makes you go like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. That's the slap. That's what that is. Like you can sit there and be going like, wow, this is really, really great. Doesn't necessarily slap, but if you're like, all right, yeah.
That's a slap.
That's the slap right there. Yeah, I don't know what the score is. It was, better received than the movie was. So just look up the movie's Rotten Tomatoes score and add like 60% to it. I don't know. What's your favorite song here?
Rockin' on Midnight, I think maybe.
I'd probably have to say that one as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the most iconic song on the record. It's the one that actually triggered my memory of the Red Letter Media episode. So I think I have to say that one as well. It's remarkably catchy too.
Yeah.
So it's I have to say that one as well as my favorite. What medal do you give?
I give it a gold.
You give it a gold?
Yeah.
I think for what it is, I kind of have to agree. I don't know if I would say it's as far as metal albums go. Yeah,
it's not a gold.
Yeah, it's a gold in its own category.
Yes.
And if we're thinking of these, giving away these medals like it's the Olympics, there are different categories. Just because somebody got the gold medal, just because Michael Phelps won the gold medal for swimming doesn't mean it's the same as getting a gold medal for cycling.
Sure. Which Michael Phelps might not get the gold medal in cycling.
I don't think it's a might, OJ. I think it's he won't. I don't think Michael Phelps has any interest in cycling.
Or skeet shooting.
or skeet shooting or archery. Or those are the only things I can think of that happen at the Olympics. Shot put, track. Do we want to just keep naming things that happen at the Olympics? Is that what the podcast is?
Slalom. Is it going to?
Wrong season.
There he is in his Speedo doing the slalom.
I mean they do still wear tight lycra for that. It's just over the whole body instead of just the crotch. Yeah, I think for what it is, for being like a hair metal movie soundtrack, is gold. Good. It's gold. It's gold. So next week, as advertised, we are going to be talking about the new Opeth album, Incauda Venenum. And I recently found out that Fit for an Autopsy released a new album. I knew there was one coming, but I didn't realize it was out. I recently I listened to that the other night. Fuck, it's so good. So I'm gonna have to wait now until week 3 of November to talk about it. But then, then we're getting close to Death Metal December, and I know what my 2 picks for Death Metal December are. So,
it might have to be me that brings the new kettle decap to the table then.
I mean,
which I'm fine with.
You're welcome to.
Yeah, saw that interview with
Travis Ryan.
Travis Ryan today. Yeah.
He's just a delightful guy.
He's a delightful fellow. He's just a regular ass guy.
Oh yeah, he's a regular dude that makes some real weird fucking noises for a living. Makes some really weird noises with his mouth for a living.
As long as I can keep doing this for a living, I'm not really going to do this for a living. Probably going to die broke. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
And I don't know what other talents Travis has other than doing death metal vocals. I'm not sure.
Crochet. He does, and macrame. He does both of those very well.
Honestly, you might not be kidding. Like, I feel like
I don't know. I am making
with what I know about Travis Ryan, that could be the truth. He seems like a really nice guy. So,
yeah, he's 44 years old. Yeah,
and he's still doing it.
Still doing it.
Still making some weird fucking noises.
Yeah, he says he has some hope for humanity. He's not as hopeless as he used to be, but he still thinks we're all going to fucking die.
I mean, that's a fact. We are all going to die.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of when and how dramatically. But it's nice to hear that he's more hopeful than he used to.
Yeah, he can see how it could be done. He doesn't think we're going to do it.
Yeah. The new album is still called Death Atlas.
Yeah.
So. All right. So, yeah, that plan for next week is Incauda Venenum by Opeth.
Yes.
And then Fit for an Autopsy in the future, and on the horizon, looming on the horizon like a grim specter of death, we have Death Metal December, and I'm so fucking pumped.
Yes,
I'm so pumped because it's gonna be so good.
Yes,
we kind of know what the plan is because I know the 2 ones that I want to bring depending upon how it falls.
Right,
New Cattle Decap, New Blood Incantation.
Well, I thought we were gonna do New Cattle Decap in November.
We might. I don't know.
Because it falls in November 29th. It comes out.
Yeah, it comes out on Black Friday, so we
Right.
probably won't have time to talk
Sure.
about that in November. It'll come out in December.
Okay, so we'll pull that out in December, which is fitting.
Yeah, first album of death metal December, Cattle Decap, and then whenever falls, I want to bring the New Blood Incantation, and then the week of Christmas,
Spiritual Healing.
by Death.
Doing it, yeah.
And then after that, I don't know, but it's whatever.
We don't have because we don't have 20/20 vision. We don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know what's going to happen. So,
Yeah.
all right. I'm so pumped. So
Awesome.
that's kind of a loose road plan. Do you have any idea what you want your next one to be?
My next one to be?
Your next album?
Well, because I at first the first year I was involved in this podcast, I was like, hey, what can I bring to Kale that he might like already? And now I'm sort of digging into the stuff like, here's what Kale might like that he didn't know he might.
Yeah,
like.
he didn't know he was going to like. So. I'm always open to new music that I was not sure I was going to like.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that I will, but that's okay. Take a chance that I might like it and go ahead and bring it.
Because the next album I was thinking of doing is one that was very, very popular and always will be very popular, from 1982.
Okay.
That would be Number of the Beast.
Oh,
Something you
hell yeah.
probably never listened to all the way through.
I haven't. No, so I'm familiar with the title track. That's about it. So,
Well, I'd probably
classic.
Run to the Hills. Probably you know that one.
If I heard it, I'd probably recognize
Yeah, you
it,
listen
but-
to it, you go, oh, that song. Yeah, I probably heard that in a grocery store somewhere.
So
Yeah.
classic fucking Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
All right.
I'm down for it. So that's our loose roadmap for the next
Sure.
couple of weeks / months. I'm excited for that. If you're excited for it too, and you want to stay up to date with all this crazy stuff that's going on Bronze Metalist Podcast, then check us out on our social media pages. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can follow us. You can like us and do your stuff.
And have a happy Halloween.
And yes. We weren't quite done.
Oh, wow.
You can also find us on Libsyn and on iTunes.
okay.
Subscribe to us there. For the time being,
Have a happy Halloween. And thank you for listening to another episode of the Bronze Metalist Podcast. I'm Gail. Congratulations.